5, ladies and gentlemen. Paweł Stopczyk and Przemysław Niedziałkowski will take us on a journey in the banking industry. They will tell us how they introduce automation and regression testing end-to-end and were able to stop the production. Please take it away.
Hello, my name is Przemysław Niedziałkowski. This is my friend Paweł Stopczyk. We have come here from central Poland, from Zgierz. Zgierz is a small city, quite old, 850 years old, and it is placed north of Lodz, and we both work in Lodz in mBank. So you may ask, why two people from bank, two banksters, came here for a testing conference to tell you about something banking? No, we are IT guys, and we are IT because we have quite a huge IT in mBank, and most of products our clients can see and can use was created here in Poland, and it was prepared by developers working for mBank. And who are we, in fact? We are one of the teams, one of the ops teams. And what was our history? Well, a few years ago, we have created our software using traditional waterfall framework. And we had few development teams, testing team, and everything, almost everything was tested manually. But now we switched to Agile, and now we have even more development teams. And we also have teams, ops teams, who are responsible for supporting developers and testers. And our testers are now parts of development teams. They are working together with developers. And our team, UXT, is responsible for helping developer for supporting development teams, and in fact they are testers in testing. How do we do this thing? Well, we are making end-to-end performance tests for them. We are helping them with test automation, and we also we are looking at their testing processes, and we are trying to find out some gaps, some impediments, and we are looking for improvements. And when we were talking to our people, our testers, we found out that there are two major problems in our system. Well, lots and lots of manual testing. This is not a discovery. Everyone has to deal with this fact. We have lots of manual regression, and it's even worse when you have to use unstable testing environments. So we have tried to deal somehow with this problem, with the problem of lots and lots of regression. We started a few years ago with commercial tools, click and replay. It was HP and computer tool. Those tools were nice. It was easy to create tests, but the tests were not accurate and they were really, really slow. And then we switched to Java Selenium. Well, Selenium is nice, you can code, the tests are more accurate, are faster, but they were still not fast enough. And we also suffered from the problems when we have switched our JavaScript frameworks to React and Ansible. So we had problem with, well, Selenium doesn't work well with those frameworks. And we were looking for something else, and we have found out that there is a nice tool called Selenium, called Canopy. It's a testing framework, and it's more accurate and faster than pure Selenium. And what was the solution of the problem of unstable testing environments? Well, there is a fascination about unit tests. And those tests are fast, are accurate, but in fact you are testing only parts of the system. And when you put those parts together, usually the system doesn't want to work. And the solution is to look at the system as the client looks. So we are testing end-to-end. We are putting all the things together, and we are testing it with end-to-end automated tests. And we started to test the system with automated tests, and those tests are supposed to verify testing environment only, and they are run non-stop. So what was the beginning? Well, we have such a pyramid, and above on the top level there are monitoring tests. Those tests they are extremely frequent, and they are not even the smoke tests, because they are only testing logins to different GUI of our system, to different testing environments. But it was not good enough because, as I said, these are very small tests. So we have asked our development teams what to test. What are your most important, most crucial testing scenarios? One of the teams told us that they have 2 scenarios, and other teams 100 scenarios, because those 100 scenarios are crucial, but they are not smoke tests. And it is too much for us. It was a dead end, so we looked at a different approach. As I said before, we are also responsible for performance testing. So we are making some analysis how our clients use our system. And we found out that there are, well, top 100 web services that our clients use the most frequent. And we have created test scenarios which can cover all those web services, and we have prepared such a tests. And this is this short regression which is 2 minutes long, and which can stop the deployment of not good version on the live environment. But it was not enough for our development teams. We have created scenarios. We ran those scenarios every 15 minutes, but it was not enough because the tests were the test coverage was not good. So we have created another tests, top 1000. Those tests are less frequent. We run them every hour, and they are more detailed. But it was also not enough, because there are some business test cases, business scenarios that should be tested, even if they are not used frequently by our clients. So we left some space for our dev teams to prepare test cases and test scenarios by themselves. And here on the lower level of this pyramid are functional dev tests. And we run their tests every day, once or twice. Okay, so when we gave some space for our teams, we also had to prepare our framework to be well sold. Maybe not sold, but implemented in development teams. And we have created this framework, and we treat it as a commercial product. So if team want to join our community and they want to use our framework, we can prepare proof of concept for them. They only have to prepare 2 or 3 scenarios to be a base for their future testers. And we also take their manual testers and we train them to create automated tests in Canopy. And it's quite friendly, so we can train a manual tester in more or less 2 days. And after those 2 days, he is able to create, under some supervision, to create automated tests, and in 2 or 3 weeks he is self-sufficient. We also prepared an informational campaign to tell people that we had some success, and well, we created some presentations for our product owners, for people from business, from our managers, for testers, developers, and we also ran internal meetup called Gildia Testów Automatycznych, it's GTA, nice, and we are present on our internal conferences in bank. What's more, if test fails, then no one believes them. So we introduced green tests policy, and we continuously monitor those tests to keep them running green. How does it look like? This is our monitoring desktop. As you can see, we are working in bank, so our security guys told me that you can't see the names of our testing environments. Nice. These are hidden, like criminals. Okay. It's a short movie. So as you can see, the graphical user interfaces were tested. We have on the left side, we have internet banking's testing environments, then AFT, this is a FAT client of our system, and the facades for mobile applications. And on the right side, you have Rosomak Wolverine in English. These are our top 100 tests. Below, Ryś, links. These are our top 1000 tests. And we also can put something important on the desktop, so we have new project and we put there their tests. And as you can see, one of the facades failed, so our DevOps guys can start fixing it. And if they won't fix this, well, then we will attract their attention. And they can see our monitors. This is a picture from our administration room, and there are monitors that show the current status of production, and also test environments. What else? Development teams also have some such monitors, and this is how we attract people's attention. If test environment is not live for more than 1 hour, then you can see a skull sign, and our DevOps guys, where I'm going to them and shout at them that there is a problem and they have to fix it, because they will look like this skull in a minute. And what about tool? We have chosen the Canopy. The Canopy was created by Texan guy. They are pragmatic. His name is Chris Holt, and Chris Holt was not satisfied with Selenium, so he took Selenium and improved it a little bit, especially wait and click actions, which are really not very nice in original Selenium, especially when you have some asynchronous communication. And what was general philosophy of Canopy? Well, it should be solid, it should be stable, and it also extends Selenium. This is simple. But it's also easy to learn. It's easy to learn because when our testers use Selenium, they just call methods of Selenium library. They don't have to know every feature in F#. So that's why we can train them in 2 days. It also has a clear API and important for us, MIT license, so we can use it in corporation. And if you want to present reports, you can just use Canopy in your CI process, or you can show the results on the screens using HTML reporter. And it's open, so you can take Canopy, extend it for your purposes. What we did, that's because we have many list objects, and we improved the handling of list objects. And well, this was general philosophy of Selenium. The pros of Selenium. Well, reliability. This was most important for us. That's because our previous tests were not reliable. People didn't like it and didn't believe it. Short execution time, also important. It is fast and easy to use. This is also nice for us. Important in our organization, it has a common IDE with IDE used by our developers, developers who develop our websites. So we don't have to install anything else. Nice feature, but it's not so important. Those tests can be used as standalone, so we can prepare a test suite, generate exe file, send it to our business, and they can execute tests on their own desktops. Nice. Sometimes useful. Useful because you will see such a demo in a minute. The framework is extendable, but every tool is like Star Wars. It has a dark side. And the darkest side of this tool is it was written in F#. No one knows it. No one ever even heard about Canopy. And that's why we came here to tell you about it. It's nice, it's easy, it has no community. Maybe you would like to join. And visual. Visual is also a pro and con. It's a pro because it's the same tool as our developers use, but it's a con because you just need a license for this, so you have to pay for Visual Studio. Unless you are less than 5 people company, then you can use community version. Okay, and I'm not a technical guy, so I'm handling the microphone to our Paweł Stopczyk, who is one of my tech leads, and he will tell you about some technical details.
Yeah, thanks, Przemek. So Przemek mentioned about Canopy, how we use it, and I will explain in a few words how we implement it in our organization. So first, we use Visual Studio as our IDE, and from this level we use NuGet extension, and we can download Canopy. What is cool that when we download Canopy, automatically will be also download and install all additional libraries which are required to use it. And that's it. Next, we must somehow run our test. Of course, we can do this in many ways. For example, we can run from Visual Studio, from command line, and also we run from Jenkins. I will explain you guys in a few seconds why Jenkins. The report. We somehow must verify our results. Of course, we can do this from Black Console, but let's be honest, it's not the most sexy report as we can imagine. But Canopy also return us HTML report. This report is much more user-friendly, clear, understandable. I will show you guys how this report looks like. Canopy also has this feature that when some test case failed, then screenshot will be made automatically, and Canopy put also the screenshot to appropriate test cases in report. Okay. Canopy is based on Selenium, so we must remember that we must also download some appropriate driver for this. We have experience with Chrome, Firefox, and Internet Explorer. Canopy also support Edge, Safari, and the last one, this is Aurora. Okay, so what more we implemented for our solution? Please remember that we talk about suite, which can stop production deployment, really. And for us, it was very important to make sure that our test will be stable, will be good. So, first of all, we run our tests on pre-prod environment and also a lower environment. So, important for us was to create mechanism which give us possibility to, in the easiest way, prepare some input data, also some parameterized. So we use very easy XML, and thanks to that, we can run our suite on different environments with different data without rebuilding. The next thing is export parallel with report JSON file. Why? Because, for example, we use this JSON to create the board, which you see in previous screen. The next thing, test report adapted for TV presentation. We tuned a bit this HTML file. We adjust look and feel to make sure that this test will good look on laptop, monitor, and TV. This was also very important for us. And if you have, when you have, account in mBank, probably you know that on the page there are many JavaScript. There are many elements which are loading asynchronously. There are many places, module, for example, like in history, where we have list with many positions. And for that reason, we also prepare our custom functions which handle this. So, for example, we're creating a method related to scrolling handling, to listing object of the page, and so on. And why Jenkins? Because we must have sure that the test will run in appropriate range of time. For example, we shouldn't run at night, because this is the maintenance window. For example, at night there is some installation, some backup, so there is no sense to run test in that time. Okay, and now the magic moment, the most risky moment for me, because really we will connect to mBank. One more thing, we can't show you our test environment due to security perspective, but we can show how our test work on old version of mBank, demo version, this one, and no one says that we can't show our test on production. So we will do it, this one. I prepared two suites. The first suite, which will be run on demo version, I divided on 4 parts. In first, we check the module, the menu. We have 3 levels of menu, so we verify the content. Then we create 4 transactions. The first transaction will be for recipient from address book. The second will be external transaction for Sławomir from Zakopane, really. The third will be transaction for phone, and the 4 will be the own transaction. So it means transaction between 2 accounts for the same user. And in the last test case, we verify the history. We verify if Sławomir got his money, for example. If not, then Canopy should make screenshot and put this screenshot to the report. Okay, so let's start. Oh, one more thing, guys. We will be connecting to our server, to our net. So please remember that if everything will be fine, if the connection will be correct, we have appropriate server responding, this test will be really fast. So please focus. And yeah, I feel a bit like Elon Musk before his rockets start, because, you know, in theory, everything has been checked and configured, but sometimes the weather is the most tricky element in entire mission. Okay, let's go. We will see two browsers. One browser will be for report, the second for test. This will be for report, this will be for test, and you will see how Canopy will click on each element. You see that this is loading. Okay, we have. So firstly, we verify the profile, individual, company. Now we will verify the menu. Now will be sub-menu for payments. Okay, we got it. Now this is sub-menu for my finance. Cool. And now will be the first transfer. This transfer will be for recipient from address book. Okay, the next will be for Sławomir. Okay, the third transfer is for phone. And the last, the on transfer, so the transfer between two accounts for the same user. Okay, and now we will have the last test case. We will go to history and we verify some position. As you see, we verify the results, the details, and we see that unfortunately we don't have Sławomir, so probably in this moment we should have screenshot, and we will verify if the report looks as should. Okay, that's all. So let's verify our report. Okay, and please look, this is very simple table which is clickable. When I click on the header, it extend. When I click one more time, it collapse. Below we have appropriate test cases related to this module. This test case which which passed has a green background. This which failed has have a red background, and also have a short description about the bug, stack trace, and also appropriate screenshot, as I mentioned. Here in this place we have the date and also how it took Canopy to create these test cases. As you see, it was 1 minute and 24 seconds, and we covered 27 test cases. Okay. And now let's run our second suite. This will be suite on production. What will be there? It has three parts. First, I verify also some position on menu. Then we try to open account. So the Canopy will go through all steps which are required to fill in form, and we stop on the last step when we should submit this form to mBank. We will not do this. And in the last part, maybe some of you play on Forex, we will verify module Forex. In mBank, we have dedicated module related to Forex. So Canopy will go there, will go to submenu and verify the technical analysis. In technical analysis, we have many pattern charts, so we verify the content, these patterns. Okay, so let's try do this. Guys, please keep your fingers crossed. Let's go. I will also open the second browser, the browser which is related to report, where the report is generated, and you will see how it looks. Let's wait. As you see, we are in www.mbank.pl. Okay, and here we have our report, which is in real time generating. Okay, and now we try to open our account. So the Canopy should fill in all fields and stop on the last step. Something happened. This is real, guys, so I will help. Okay, I will not do anything, so we should have screenshot. Yes, we have. And the next, also here. Yeah, here we have our test cases related to technical analysis. And please look how the report will be, how the appropriate test cases will be inserting here in report. So now we will go to technical analysis module, and we will verify all these many on the left side. And here we also will have screenshot because I prepare test case that here should be error, and then we verify our report. Okay, that's it. Let's verify one more time this report. Okay, and we got it. As you see, we cover 40 test cases. It took us 1 minute 26 seconds. And as you see here, we have screenshot. The test can't find some elements. Sometimes it happened. And also here in Forex module, we have all our test cases. And one test case should also include screenshot, as you see. One more thing, here on the right side, we have time for this specific test cases. Test case. This is how it looks. Okay, we got it. We landed safely. Thank you for your time, guys. And now, Przemek, in few words, summarize our presentation.
Okay, so a short summary on the end. So our smoke tests before and after Canopy. Our smoke test took 15 minutes. Now they took 1.5 minutes, so it's 10 times faster. It has a high stability. 30% of false positives before, and now 2% of false positives. People didn't rely on our test because it had a lot of false positives, and now they can join our community of testers. And they were not concerned about test results because nothing has happened if the test failed. Managers were also not willing to give their time and money for those tests. And we also had problems with IntelliJ IDE. The installation of the project on web workstation took 3 days, and now we can do it in an hour. And the most important on the last bullet, we had no influence on deployment, and now we can stop release, and we already did it because we have introduced this policy last December, and now we are also introducing the policy on lower test environments. And this is the bombshell we would like to finish our presentation. You can stop release in a big company with automated tests. Thank you all for your attention, and thanks, Paweł. Thanks.
We got some questions on Slido, so I'll read the first one. Is constant monitoring of testing green policy worth introducing in a project if the testing environments are not stable?
Well, our project was created to have a stable testing environment. When it is not stable, those tests will show you how often your testing environment is not stable, and you can see the problem. Without those tests, you have no proofs when you are talking to developers. You are going to developer and the testing environment works. It just works because it was dead a minute ago. And in our monitoring, we have also a history, so you can see that 15 minutes ago the testing environment was dead, and now it's alive.
All right, thank you. If the tests fail because of test code rather than the implementation, do you still follow green policy rule? Fix it ASAP or just go with the release?
We have to find out why the test fails. If the test fails because it was not well coded, then we have the reason and we can go on production. But it doesn't happen last times.
And we also verify, we monitor this result. And if some case we have false positive, then one of us every day look on this report, and when he see the bug, the error, verify this test case manually. If everything is fine, then we say administrator, okay, you have green light because this was our fault, let's say.
But it's a stop.
All right. How do you evaluate the expected results versus the test results? Because it's done automatically.
Well, yes, it's done automatically. So we know what is the test result, and we can verify it manually if something is not okay.
Could you give an example? Do you compare pictures, text? Or?
As Przemek mentioned, we verify statistic and we check what transaction is the most used on production, and we know exactly which part of our page call to this transaction. And when we have the answer, the good answer, then we verify, we assert some element on the page. And this is how we handle our test cases. In each test case, we have appropriate assertion, and this was long term. We spent many time to verify exactly how to cover this, but all test cases has assertion, so this is
Thank
how
you.
It works.
You indicate that Canopy has a faster execution time than Selenium. How did you measure that, and how did you achieve that speed boost? If Canopy is an extension of Selenium.
Yes, based on Canopy Selenium, and when we use this framework, lower there is many. For example, on click method, there is many code which are related to fact that when you would like to click on this element, firstly, code check if this element is visible, is clickable, loaded fully, and so on. And for that reason, for us, this framework is cool because it gives us a very stable test. And as you see, it's also very, very fast.
Well, the measuring method, we have created one testing suite in Selenium, the same testing suite in Canopy, and we have tried also to improve those suites. And we ran them for a month, I think, and then we were looking at the history results and just looking which is faster. And the Canopy was faster. Really faster.
Excellent. Do you have scripts for test data preparation?
We used this method, but now we don't use those scripts. We are using fixed data for testing, and if anything will happen with those fixed data, then we just fixing the problem, fixing the data.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here comes the next one. Is the testing done post-merge on the staging server, or is it done per delivery?
Sorry, could you one more time?
Is the testing done post-merge on the staging server, or is it done per delivery? Is the author of the question happy to clarify?
I'm not sure.
Just a sec.
Okay.
The question I wanted to ask is, every change tested, or are they actually grouped in parts, like every hour, and then tested like 10 changes in a group?
This suite, which we mentioned that can stop deployment, production deployment, we run on our pre-prod environment, so we have the scenario which will not change, So this is the regression. This suite is rated to regression, and of course, if someone changed, then we see, because our tests will fail, and then we verify. If something changed on page, then we modify also our script, but mostly it is run only on this pre-prod environment, and the scenario is without changing.
But we are testing the whole testing environment, so there are all changes that were prepared for this version of software.
Okay.
That's the answer.
Was a follow-up question?
The technical part is really interesting, looks awesome. But I have another question about the setup of the teams. So, as I understood, you have a test automation team that handles those 1,000 plus 100 test cases, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
did you write them? I mean, did the automation team write them?
Yes.
We
So
did.
code them. So, whenever there is a change in some functionality that comes from one of the teams, dev teams, you have to know about it, right? Before before it goes to the whichever staging server, right? Because otherwise you would get all the fails. I know that they are 1,100 regression tests, but for sure you're making this mBank page better and better, so there has to be many changes, right, in functionalities. Because I worked in the similar setup, and I know we had huge problems with it. We had a test automation team that ran the test cases, but there were problems with information coming from the small teams, dev teams, to show us what to change, right? And we were the last to know that there was some change that influenced the regression. So how do you cope with that?
Okay, so
We have the same. So
we
don't
have the
worry.
same problem.
Thank you. I
To summarize,
feel
we have
better
the
now.
same. Wait.
Okay, even if 90% of people will tell us what they will change in our system, there are always 10% of not very nice people who will not tell us anything. And we are the surprise. This is a thing which is stable in our work. Okay, so well, we tried to introduce changes before, and for example, we are running tests on lower environments, so we have faster information about some problems, and we can fix them before they will be promoted to pro-live. And this is one of the solutions of this problem. And what's more, 1,000 the most used web services, but this is not 1,000 scripts. We have 1,000, how many scenarios? 50 or 60? We have
50 test cases, which cover us this 100 transactions. So, 50 is not so much, so we can somehow, there is not very issue for us to maintenance this part
This
of.
top 100 regression, it's 16 scenarios. So it's not a lot, because people usually do the same things with banking systems. They can log in, they can check the history, make transfer. Usually people do simple things.
I have two questions here.
Okay.
The first question is about the report. There were tests which passed with 0 seconds. I assumed that it passed in milliseconds, but that's the first question. The second question is about the community of the framework. How long have you been considering to use such a tool with such a small community with, I don't know, known problems or stuff like that?
Yeah. So the first question, when we have 0 second, that's true. It means that the Canopy verifies some headers. Some assertion was so quick that it was lower than 1 second. Really, if I will prepare test case that we expected some different string, then we will see that it took a bit longer because we waiting on timeout, and then we will have screenshot, and then let's say it will be 10 seconds because this is the default timeout. About community, in most cases, Canopy have so many functions that it works. So if not, then really Chris Holt, who created this this framework, is guys. When you write some questions on GitHub, really he answered. So it was we have one issue, and I wrote to him, and I have the answer from them. He explained me how we can cover this functionality a bit different.
Yes, but how long has it took you to decide? Yes, this is the framework we are going to use.
I think 1.5 years of a year. We were using creating tests in Java Selenium, and then we were looking at this Canopy framework, and we had one proof of concept, but we decided that it's not this moment to start. Then we tried it again, more or less 1.5 of a year.
Okay, thanks. That's all from me.
I have some more questions on the phone. Please stay tuned. We still have time. All right, so the first one, in order of appearance, is why did you have so many false positives on Selenium and now they're gone?
You know, mBank, the page, has many JavaScript, many Ajax, many elements, as I mentioned, are asynchronously. And really, when we wrote our test in Java, even if we create some additional method to wait for element, we had many issues with this. And also, our test environment are not so stable as should be, unfortunately. And also, for that reason, we had many problems to make sure that our test, which was in Java, was stable. And Canopy, you know, when we use it, it was something incredible for us that it could work just like that.
Thank you. The difference between Selenium and Canopy is 10 minutes to 1.5 minutes. Is the same number of tests being run in both environments? Where was the major speed gain achieved?
It was not the same amount of tests. In Java Selenium we had more tests, but they covered the same area of mBank.
How much F# code you need to write to be able to write your scenarios? How much tests did you write without using F#?
Sorry, how much tests we write without F#?
Yes, using the Canopy out of the box. So Canopy out of the box versus F# coding.
You know,
Can you share some?
All our test cases use Canopy. So what we added, not related to Canopy, it's some functions related with some loops or something like that. But we try not to, input many things, because in such way tests are more complicated and for sure it's not so stable. So I could say that something like 95% has been covered by Canopy.
Thank you very much. We've run out of time. A big round of applause for Paweł and Przemysław.
Thank you.